Well, it seems like just a few days ago I was in Julien's shoes, and it seems a little unreal to me that I am supposed to talk to you today about having adult children. How in the world did that ever happen? I have no idea. I'm still so young. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, I want to give you a real quick update of what our 4 kids are doing. Some of you may know and some of you might not, but our oldest is Mark. He's married to Ruth Ann. They live in Blaine. They just bought a new house there a few months ago, and Mark works as an electrical engineer at a company in Arden Hills. Kelsey is just this May will be graduating from Bethel with secondary education in math, and she plans to teach somewhere in the state of Wisconsin. She's getting married this summer, and her husband is taking a job as a management position at a Target near Madison. And then we have Alyssa, who just completed her 2nd year at North Central. She's going for youth ministry. And then we also have Andrew, who is a junior this year. He just turned 17. Happy birthday, Andrew. And we're so happy that he's still home with us one more year. So when we had to do this assignment, I texted all of my kids and said, okay, tell me something I did right in raising you. I have no idea. And it was just really fun to hear all the texts back and the conversation that we've had these last few days. And so basically, my 4 kids wrote this little sermon for you today. I wanted to share with you some things that, looking back over these last 25 years of having children, things that I don't regret doing, and so maybe I can feel like I did something right, and maybe, sort of, did something right. And so here we are, top 10. Top 10 things I maybe did right. Number 10, be sure that you take advice from other parents. Do I have it up there? Here we go. Take advice from other parents. I asked other parents who were a little ahead of me in the game, how did they raise such great and awesome, responsible children? And I heeded their advice. I didn't make excuses for why what they suggested would never possibly work with my family, but I heeded what they said and I tried to make it work. And what they laid out for me, the patterns that they did, I went for. I figured, why reinvent the wheel if it seems to be working? Go for what they said. And I was intentional about this. I recall going out for lunch with a few of you ladies here and saying, help, what'd you do? I need some guidance and some leading and some whatever. And I also learned a lot just from simply watching and observing other families and other moms and dads as to what they did, or maybe what they should do, or maybe what they didn't do, or how I maybe would change something. But I observed a lot, and I took advice from other people. Number 9, teach them morals and virtues. Teach them values. Teach them Christian standards in an increasing anti-Christian world. Teach them to do the right thing no matter what the cost. If that means that they're going to lose the golf tournament that they're playing in because they're not going to lie about their score, well, then they've lost with dignity. And they can be proud of that. It's not worth winning if they're lying and cheating. Teach them to be honest. In the end, their life, they will be happier and more content if they learn to always do what's right. If a person is not honest about those little tiny things when they're little and young, they certainly will not be honest and have integrity as they grow older and the things become much more major. Number 8, teach them to be kind and respectful of people of all ages. Be respectful. We don't know what it's like to be that other person. We don't know what it's like to walk in their shoes and to go through the things that they maybe have gone through. So be loving towards them as Jesus is loving towards you. And this starts right in your home. We encouraged the kids to always get along. We didn't allow them to have sibling fights and things like that. We would say, no, you guys are on the same team. Don't fight with each other. I don't know what happened when I was at home, but when I was there, I didn't allow them to fight. I said, work it out in a nice way. Do not fight. And then just be respectful of people, of older people, whoever. And if somebody gives you a gift or something, like Keith has dear Grandma Myrtle, she kind of gave interesting gifts sometimes. And sometimes you're like, we didn't know what it was. But we receive it with grace, and you just appreciate their thoughtfulness and their generous heart, and be thankful for that. Even if you think that the present is really weird, it doesn't matter. Just be thankful for their generous heart. Number 7 of the things that I might have done right was be their biggest fan. Now, I like to go to games and cheer them on, but sometimes I was not the loudest cheer or clap the loudest, whatever, because I didn't always want to embarrass them. Sometimes I did, and I did embarrass them, but oh well. But I wanted them to know that I loved them, I supported them, no matter what they did. I was proud of them. I valued them. Take an interest in the things that they like. One year I went with my girls to a Girls Revolve tour, and that had many speakers and singers and whatnot. Part of it was a rap hip-hop concert. I thought, oh, Lord, have mercy. But you know what? I was like, no, the girls were so excited for that part, and they were just so ready for that. And I thought, okay, here we go, let's rap. And you know what? I absolutely loved it. That was my favorite part of the whole weekend, was the rap concert. Who knew? But we don't know. Our kids show interest in something. We need to discover that with them and find out what it is. Maybe you will love it too. My kids, I was their biggest fan. They knew that they were a priority to me. I valued time with them. You know, no one else will take as much joy or interest in my kids as I will. No one. It's my job to be their support system. So moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas, nobody's going to support their kids as much as you will. It is your assignment from heaven. Number 6, say I love you frequently. We verbalize this love constantly in our home. We would tell them I love you when they would leave, when they'd go to bed, at the end of a phone call or a text, whenever. We would constantly be saying I love you. I did not want my kids growing up and wondering, do they love me? They never once said it. Get over that. Say it. Say it today. Say I love you. I also tried to discern what their love language was and say I love you through that language, whether it's gift giving or encouraging words or acts of service or quality time or physical touch. What is it that says I love you to that person the most? And try and do those things. If it's not your love language, go out of the box and just make it be doing it that way too. We never tire of hearing somebody say, I love you, and we should never tire of saying, I love you. Let those 3 little words flow freely out of your mouth. Number 5, love my husband. Now, Keith wanted this to be number 1. I said, well, I kind of had a hard time putting these in numbers, so whatever. But I said, no, there's something else. But I do think that's very valuable. Show your kids that you love your husband and that you can show them what a Christian marriage is truly all about. Now, does that mean that we never disagree on anything? No. No. But we're always working through things. I have learned who the true enemy is. Satan comes to kill and destroy. Keith is not my enemy. It is Satan who is my enemy. We are on the same side. So even though we have different views or different ideas, our ultimate goal is the same. So we would never raise our voices with each other because we know we are on the same team. We also taught our children what it looks like to respect our spouse, to love the things that my husband loved, take an interest again in the things that he enjoys. I now golf because I did not want him to love another woman golf more than me. So I love golfing now. I love going with him. I love watching it with him. It's because I know he enjoys those things. So therefore I enjoy. And now he comes to concerts with me. Or I might go to a sporting event with him and he goes shopping with me. Just spend time together, you and your spouse. And this will just be perfect for your family to know. Your kids will just relax in knowing that your relationship is strong. Take time to date your husband without the kids. This is showing your children that your marriage is a priority, that needs attention in order to stay healthy. And that will help them with their marriages, as Mark has told me. Number 4 of the things that I might have done right. Be consistent. This is actually, I thought maybe I should do this one, number 1, because to me this is very important. But learn to follow through with your word. Don't make promises that you have no intention of keeping. Be consistent in your disciplining. Keith and I used to say, now, who's the parent here? Remember to encourage each other and be diligent and firm in the discipline, not giving in to the children's way. That's why we'd say, who's the parent here? They knew if I said something, I meant it. And I was keeping my word. My no meant no. It didn't mean if you whine for 10 minutes, you can have it. No. My no meant no. Right, children? Yeah, they both put their thumbs up. Did you see that? But my yes also meant yes. And feel free to say yes. Can I have a friend over? Yes. Can I eat this? Yes. Can we go here? Yes. Yes, yes. Do say yes. Say it frequently. But when you say no, say no. Now, quick little story. And it's funny. Almost all of my kids referred back to this one. We have a rule at our home that if you don't eat supper, you don't get a bedtime snack. Bedtime snack must have been a big deal. Anyways, so one day, this is about 12 years ago-ish, I made supper. It was all done, and we all sat down to eat, and I took one bite. It was the nastiest fish I have ever had in my entire life. I don't know what I did wrong, but it was horrible. It was awful. And all the kids were like, I think we took our first bite first, because Keith and I were like, this is bad. And anyways, so we had other food with it, and so he said, well, eat the other stuff. And then Keith said, I will eat one bite of fish, we all will go to the Dairy Queen later on, including me and him. You gotta be kidding me, I gotta eat a bite of fish? Okay, so we all did our bite of fish, gagged it down, washed it down with some milk or something. It was nasty. I'll be the first to admit. It was nasty. So Mark, he decided, no, it wasn't worth it. He was not going to eat that bite of fish. And we said, Mark, you know, we're going to the Dairy Queen. He loves Dairy Queen. We all love Dairy Queen. He loves it. If you don't go to eat that bite of fish, you are not having any Dairy Queen. Nope. Kelsey ate it. Alyssa ate it. Andrew ate it. Good for you. I ate it. Keith ate it. And just to prove it, he ate a couple pieces. Oh, he ate all of it, he said. Oh, Lord. Anyway, Mark would not. We all went to the Dairy Queen, and Alyssa told me the other day she was watching to see, did we give in? We went to the Dairy Queen. Do you think Mark got any Dairy Queen? Not a bit. We all sat and ate our delicious Dairy Queen, and he just sat there. Do you think as a mother I felt bad? Not at all, because it was his choice. It was very clear. He knew the consequences if he didn't eat. I was going to be consistent. He was going to bed hungry that night. He's still alive today, 12 years later. It didn't hurt him. But I was consistent, and Keith, we were consistent in what we said. And I just think it's hilarious that 12 years later, I asked every one of my kids, they all, oh yeah, I remember that day. They all remember it made an impression on them. So be consistent. Okay, number 3, spend time together as a family. We would do family game nights, board games, outdoor yard games, movie nights where we'd snuggle all on the couch and eat kettle corn and apple slices. We would go family biking, walking, hiking, geocaching, disc golfing, and regular golfing. We would work together, work out in the yard, do our house chores together, so that when we were done, we could have a reward going to the Dairy Queen. We would go on vacations together. I loved that. It was time away just for us. This cost us money, But these times really brought us together close as a family. And today we have some very precious and crazy memories that we all can laugh and share together. Go spend time together as a family. The second thing I think I maybe did right and encourage you to do, and that is pray for them. Pray for your children. Now, I talked about praying for our children a couple weeks ago, but something that I heard when Mark was just a real little guy, and that was that every prayer that we make is like building a wall, brick by brick by brick. Each prayer makes the wall higher and stronger. So I would pray a lot for my kids, creating a strong fortress around my children. Now, we heard how crazy Julian's schedule is. We didn't have time. I don't have time to sit down and pray for an hour for my children. I don't know who has time for that. But prayer happens continuously. Every minute here, a minute there, a minute here, a minute there. And those little minutes are what build that strong wall. I prayed in front of them. I pray over them. I pray privately for them. You know, no one is going to love that little person as much as you, their mother. And no one is going to pray for them as much as you. It's your job. Again, it's your assignment from heaven to pray for those that God has put you in charge of. No one else. And if we don't pray for our children, who's going to? Who's going to build that fortress? Who's going to build that wall of protection for them? And this continues now, even though they're bigger. The problem is that their problems I'm praying for are bigger and way out of my control, more life-changing. So we need to cover them in prayer and remind the Lord that they are His. I often am awakened at night to pray for my children. Sometimes it's because they wake me up. I still get up at night, texting, talking on phone. I never tire of praying for my children, never tire of talking with them. It's very important and life-changing for both them and for me. Finally, number 1, create God encounters for them. Keith and I would bring them places and send them places where they would see the power of God at work. I wanted them to have a personal experience with the living God, not just hearing stuff secondhand from mom and dad. We would pray together, and then we would talk about those answers so it became real. Talk about when God answers prayer. We would send them to youth camp, summer camp, retreats, things like that, where that's so important because that's time away from the family, time with their peers, where they can make awesome friendships that will help them to have positive peer influences in their life. They have all kinds of influences. We want them to have positive peer influences that are godly. We sent them on AIM trips, missions trips. This was, I think, very valuable, seeing the poor, desolate places that other people in our world live, other countries and their cultures and how they live. And then they would try to minister to those people there, and they'd have to truly rely on God to anoint them and to inspire them to minister to those people that they were ministering to. I don't know, but I think this is really key in both our daughter, Alyssa and Kelsey's lives. Those missions trips, they have callings on their lives now because of ministering on those mission things. I think those were life-changing. Our perspective on life changes when you're in a foreign land. Again, did these things cost us money? Oh, yeah, you bet. Lots of money. But I would spend that money over and over and over again because God showed up in their lives at these events. And to me, that is totally priceless. And now, Rachel is going to share her perspective.